Hi everyone, I'm Wendy Muirhead and I am delighted to introduce you to 5 o'clock somewhere because it's always 5 o'clock somewhere in the world. In my career, I have the joy of working with thought leaders every single day. And this is a great opportunity and platform to share some of those great conversations with you. I hope you find it enjoyable and insightful. Take care. Bob, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here at 5 o'clock somewhere.
Loving this. Love it. I'm good. Thank you, Wendy. How are you today?
Oh, I'm so well. I was really excited when I saw your name come up in my agenda. Like, this is something I've been really waiting for. So tell our viewers, Bob, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, you know what? I'm getting a bit old now, but I've been around for a while. But I've been, as you know, Wendy, helping in transformation and projects for a long time. A lot of work in the HCM space. We do sort of financials as well, but a lot of back office transformation for global clients. We've had a fun journey for the last 10, 15 years and just continue to put myself out there and helping clients is what we do.
I love it. I love it. And we've had a lot of fun as we went through the 10-year journey, haven't we, Bob?
I know, you know what? I think our world would be very different if we didn't have fun, right? And it's one of my values, go out there, do some work, but have some fun, right? This is, a big part of our life.
Well, that's the whole point of having these conversations today, is for those that can't get out and meet the network. And I am absolutely dying to see you on our travels when this whole pandemic thing's over. I can't wait for that to happen sometime soon. We might sneak into a party or two.
Those stories will come back, won't they?
Those stories will come back, Bob. So Bob, you're a really highly represented industry member. I see you on LinkedIn. We see all the great stuff you're doing in 24/7. And, I'd really like you to share a little bit about what you're seeing in the industry at the moment and what's really getting you fired up.
Well, it's interesting, right? So I think the pandemic has really highlighted the HR industry as a whole, right? HR and payroll. I don't want to exclude payroll because it's a really important part of the people industry, right? Because at the end of the day, we all go to work, we all want to be looked after, but we all want to earn some money. So, I always want to shout out to the payroll people out there, you're not forgotten. And it's a really important part. I mean, for me, what I'm seeing is, the four of the HR industries come out right with the pandemic. People are worried about our people, their well-being, right? Are they looking after themselves, and the mental side as well as the financial well-being as well? But then also, do we have the right systems in place for running businesses like we've had to do for the last 12 months, right? People are starting to recognize, do we have the right infrastructure in place? What if this happened again? God forbid it happens again, but if we had to work remotely, but actually, do we have disaster recovery in place? Because these sorts of things are examples of disaster recovery, right? And companies have really come forward and thinking, we need to think about this and we need to really look at the market and look what opportunities there. So in a way, it's helped the HR technology and payroll industry get a bit of presence in people's minds.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's really elevated the board priority as well. Who would have thought we would have had to have global disaster recovery programs invoked in such a short space of time? And those that have struggled are absolutely actively looking. And I think that's where your technology really comes in.
Yeah.
And partnership that you give to organizations out there is really valuable, Bob, because you give a really holistic view of the landscape that's out there, both in the global HCM market and also domestically. And I think that's really important, what you bring into the market.
No, thanks for that. I mean, and you're right. HR Tech 24/7 has been out there, and it was something that I was really passionate about. Is really making sure that everyone gets visibility of what's out there in the market. Right, there's some great products out there. What you guys are doing at Ceridian is fantastic, but there are some other great products out there. Some startup companies, they're doing some wonderful things in the space. I just wanted to create that presence on a single place that both prospects or customers that want to go and just say what's out there, go and have a look, but also there are people like me, other consultants, other influencers, other project consultancies out there that just want this toolbox to say, well, who could we be talking to on behalf of our clients? So it really does provide a purpose to 2 or 3 different communities, and it's been lovely. The 9-month journey we've been on around creating HR Tech 24/7 has been amazing, and the growth is fantastic. And thank you for being supporters of what we do.
Oh, 100%. No, I think it's a really great platform. It's really interactive, and viewers of, 5 o'clock somewhere, if you haven't seen it yet, go and visit Bob Rehill, HR 24/7. It's a great, great platform, and anyone can access it. Bob, I'm seeing a lot of, it's been interesting, these conversations I've been having, because, it can be about, how do you engage your workforce when you're disparate and everyone is so sick of looking in this forum.
Mm.
Are you hearing things from your customers and the organizations that you work for? Are you seeing some things, some like best practices that you could maybe share in this format of what people are doing to try and get over this Zoom fatigue and try and keep engagement levels high across the organizations?
Yeah, listen, look, we've all had to find a way, but what's been really exciting is about how agile have we all been in this 12 months period, right? I mean, well, 9 months, right? 9, 10 months. We've all had to adapt, be resilient to things, and change the way we think. And what it has shown is that, for organizations that thought we couldn't work remotely or we couldn't do this, what a fantastic example we've been forced down. I mean, what obviously, as you say, we are getting tired of this, right? We do need people interaction. I'm a big fan of saying we need to have that coffee, and we'll no doubt talk about some of the drinks we've had, Wendy, and places we've been, but that will not go away, and that's how human nature, and we just need to carry on doing that. We need to connect with people, talk to people, touch them on the shoulder. Things like that are just really important to us. And so in the virtual space, obviously organizations are thinking about, well, how do we put some fun events on? How do we create communities? How do we just have a coffee chat, right? There's fantastic, I mean, shout out to Mel and the GPA, for example. There's an 11 o'clock coffee chat that she does every day, which has been a godsend for a lot of people. So people are creating those communities and those virtual environments, and I think that's what organizations do. We internally do the same, right? We have a coffee chat. We're doing a pancake day next week. We've done a baking thing. We just try to create a bit of that community spirit as well. But listen, it isn't the same, right? We can't connect with people, but we can only try and bring as much of that human intervention into the way we talk here as well.
So what do you think the future looks like, Bob? If you get your crystal ball out, what do you think the future is going to look like when we get all the vaccination programs out? People are starting to get out and about again. We're going to grab that coffee when we next bump into each other's path in London.
Yeah.
What's the future look like?
Well, you know what? I'm a believer that we're going to end up somewhere near where we were before. I think organizations will definitely now be thinking, we know that some people are thinking a lot more remote working, a lot more home-based things. Absolutely. So we're not going to end up where we were, but we're not going to be in this extreme situation where we're not connecting. There's a space in between. If people said to me, Bob, come into London, let's meet and connect, I'm still going to do it. And I think people will want to do that because we've been, you can't change everything in a 9-12 month period. Yes, we've had to adapt and change the way we think, but we spent the last 20, 30, 40, and people like me 50 years living the way we lived, right? And that's embedded in our DNA and culture. So I want to get back out there, and I'm sure that many people want to get back out there, meet in the office, have the coffee chat in the office kitchen, things like that. And I think we'll get back to that. I just think we're going to slowly drift into that space. But I also think people will be mindful of saying, well, actually, do I really need to go and meet that person for half an hour, or can I really just get some quality time over Zoom now or video conferencing and deal with it that way? So we're going to have a hybrid, aren't we, Wendy?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think it's two things for me. Is how comfortable do the individuals feel about going out? And I think that there's a lot of work that the HR industry is doing right now to help get businesses ready to prepare, because there's some CEOs that are right there desperate to get people back in the office space. I think I saw something of a Dyson recently where their CEO was like, no, we're definitely going to go back into work. And then there's others that are out there that actually see this as a real cost saving opportunity not to open offices back up and just to go virtual first and everything. And I think there's the to your point, there's the economic side of it, but there's also the, what are people comfortable with in the geography that they live in? I know that our program for the vaccination program is going up much quicker than some of my friends that are in Canada and other parts of the world. So you've got to just take a sensible view. And at the end of the day, top talent, you've got to look after your top talent. If your top talent aren't comfortable, we've got to make sure that there's facilities like this that enables them to be able to be successful in their role.
No, I agree. And we've also got to be mindful, right? We've got a mixed of people out there. Some people actually want to go to the office and get that engagement and relation. It's maybe the only time they see people outside of their home, and it's their own space. So going to the office and that travel on the train, it's really important. And so let's not discourage that, right? So but let organizations allow employees to actually almost create their own working environment, right? Well, who wants to come back to the office, or who doesn't? And if you don't want to come back in, or actually like the remote working, let's make sure we give them the right tools and the technology. So it's going to be a really interesting dynamic over the next 12, 18, 24 months, seeing how organizations adapt, the workplace to suit actually the individuals, as opposed to before we used to adapt workplaces for companies, and people had to adapt to them. And now what I'm saying is companies have to think about the people and adapt now to how they want to work.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a real enhancement on that flexible working policy, isn't it?
It is.
You're going to see an awful lot more guidance on that area. And I think that you've already mentioned it. I think the forums and the communities and all the things, that the innovations that have came over the course of the pandemic, I really hope that those things sustain as people, come at the back end, because I've never, ever seen, particularly in the global payroll community, and again, another shout out for Mel, because I've seen her do it. I've seen others build other forums as well. But, those things have been so supportive in helping people really understand the legislation on a regular basis, because it's changed so frequently. So I really hope that continues. But I miss my commute, Bob. I miss that EasyJet commute where I get to see you when I land on the other side of the journey from Glasgow to London. Bob, what's the next thing for you when you get, businesses and moving in that direction, but what's the next big thing on your horizon?
So for me, Wendy, I'm really focused on making sure we get through this year, right? And I think, supporting as many people as I can as well in the community, the HR tech industry, payroll industry, and people that I love and care for as well. We just need to get through jointly and work through the next 6 to 12 months, just to make sure we will sustain something or get through this. But you know what, after that, I just going to continue to try and drive the HR tech community. I really want people to be aware of what's out there and what wonderful products and technology exist out there, how it complements technology, and how people can really use that to create a better workplace. So I'm going to keep shouting about HR Tech. I'm going to go out there and start mixing it a bit more. I'm really excited because I'm involved with a couple of startups around mental health and well-being, people like Support Rooms that are a growing tech company as well. And that's really exciting, seeing these new products come to market and what they're doing. So I'm starting to get in that level and sit on sort of some non-exec director type roles. So I'm really excited about where I'm going personally over the next 12, 18 and 24 months as well.
That's really exciting. And you do an awful lot with schools, don't you, in your local area, Bob? Share with me a little bit, because obviously the school's being closed down at the moment. And I, as a mum, I'm really worried about, the gap of what's happened. Just my poor husband's currently doing education classes right now while I'm in my office. But what's been happening there, and how have you been sort of supporting the education and that education sector and encouraging them over this time?
So I've been involved with some local schools here actually for about 10, 11 years now, everything from governance but through to building the trust, but now also as a member of the board, right, and the trust. And we have 6 or 7 schools that we look after, sort of predominantly from up to the age of 11. So it's been tough, right? And I'm a big advocate of education, looking after children, and I've been supporting the head teachers. We've actually got a meeting sort of next week about what's next and what can we do. I recently put, we actually donated a book club to a school from Bob Rehill, just to encourage people to get books and go home and read. And so we just have to keep looking after the youngsters in our world and the kids of the future. And I'm a big advocate of that, plus charities and other things as well. So it's about giving back. So the children have been impacted quite heavily here, and I just hope that we can get through this vaccination program quickly. We can get schools back into full-time education and give the kids what they deserve and give them the future that they want as well.
Yeah, no, I think what you do is really inspirational, Bob. And one of the things that I'm talking a lot with David and our team over here is how can we really help get kids in school and give them apprenticeship opportunities and other opportunities that, irrespective of grades and things like that, because it's been in some areas such a car crash. So how can we help encourage people to, that might not get the same opportunities to go into higher education and find pathways and be there to support, because great talent that starts from schools.
Absolutely.
And it shouldn't be just certain area schools. It should be across all schools across the UK, in my mind. I think that's really great what you're doing there, Bob.
Thank you.
So on a Friday at 5 o'clock, when we're just coming out of a meeting room together, what would be your favourite tipple, Mr. Rehill?
Well, you know what, a nice vodka would go nicely. Maybe it depends. If I'm with you, well, then it's prosecco and champagne, right, Wendy? All the time with you. And
I'm thinking tequila.
Yeah, tequila. Yeah,
well, that story.
Yeah, we might want to try and gate crash a bit of a party here and there, Wendy. That's what you like to do, don't you?
That is, no, we'll share this story. Actually, there was a party that was happening with one of the well-known HCM cloud technology partners that's out there, and I didn't have a ticket, but I met Bob for a bottle of prosecco actually before the party started. And Bob, you had a ticket for that. I turned up on your arm, like your arm ornament, and then we both separated to give our names. And because obviously my name wasn't on the list, what did I say my name was, Bob?
Well, you were the real Roberto Rehill, is my understanding, and it was down as
Roberto
Bob, right?
Rehill. Bob Rehill. So yes, on both sides. So I do apologise, HCM vendor, but it was a brilliant party. And we had a great night. It was a really good night. And Lancaster Gate, I think I remember. But it was a brilliant night. So yes, I am not the official Bob Rehill. You are the legend, Bob Rehill. But no, Bob, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's not even nighttime. But if you're watching, it might be. So thank you, Bob. Really appreciate everything you do in the industry, and thank you so much for your time today.
Lovely. Thanks, Wendy, and good luck to everyone there at Serene as well.
Take care.
Cheers. Bye now.